Jimmy once again here from the Little Speed Shop. Today we're going to be doing a little AC diagnosis. Common thing that happens on BMW cars, especially in the summertime, especially early on in the season, they show up with a complaint of no AC. One of the first things you need to check, and this is important because you as a customer, if you're watching this video, can actually do this yourself. There is a thing called the stratification wheel that lives in between the two vents in the center, and if you see red dots on it, 1, 2, or 3, you're going to get heat, regardless of how high you turn the AC on. So what you want to do is move that dial until you see blue dots, and you'll notice that the air is going to get a lot cooler. Now, barring that as your problem, which later on in the season people usually figure that out, we need to look at the AC system to see why you don't have cool air. If that's your complaint, you haven't got cool air, or it's not cool enough, or in some cases you may even hear a gurgling noise from your AC when it's on. That might indicate that you have a low charge. What we do first off is we check to obviously make sure that the AC work is not working. It's the first thing you want to do with AC diagnosis is go through and check all the settings in the customer's control panel, make sure he's got it on cool and that he's hitting the AC button, because there's a separate AC button on BMW cars and a lot of other cars for that matter, and make sure that the AC is actually turned on. Okay. Barring that as a problem, what you want to do then is measure the temperature of the outlet air. Usually you can just put your hand up there and go, yeah, that's warm, or hot even in some cases. From there, what you want to do is you want to check to see if your refrigerant system has refrigerant in it. And you kind of need one of these machines over here. This machine here is, we just call it an AC machine. We have the two dials for the two sides of the AC system, the low side and the high side. One takes heat out and the other one pumps cool in. It's basically how it works. What we'll want to do, excuse me, is we'll do a quick recovery of the refrigerant in the system, and then we'll measure that recovery. Because what we're going to do is we're going to get a figure of how much we're going to get, and we're going to see how much we're supposed to have, which is on this green sticker up here. It'll say charge 1.78, which is what this one says. How much refrigerant in pounds you're supposed to have in the system. The machine will withdraw all of the refrigerant in the system and give you a measurement of how much is in there. This particular vehicle came in about 3 days ago and had 0.43 pounds of refrigerant. So AC's not going to work, if at all, very poorly. So what we did at that point is we look for obvious leaks, which are kind of tough to find because once refrigerant hits the atmosphere, it evaporates immediately. So we looked around the system, look for wet spots, look for spots where it might leak, look for dye if there was any in the system at a previous point. And then what we do, if we can't find a leak, is we actually put some dye in it, this fluorescent dye that we have here. And this stuff is pretty trick stuff because it gets mixed in with whatever, but you can use it in oil and coolant if you need to. When it leaks out, it makes a fluorescent mess, which you will see later. You're going to love this part. So what we do is we charge the system back up to full, add in 1.78 pounds, and let it fly. The customer take it, the AC works. If they come back right away, or if they don't come back right away, when they do come back, whether it be 2 days in this case, or maybe even just next season, they're going to have dye wherever that AC refrigerant is leaking from. So, we sent this car on its way a couple of days ago with a fresh charge of refrigerant and some dye in there. Came back 2 days later, no AC. So they came back right away. We checked the usual spots. Now there's several spots where refrigerant can leak out of the system, and unfortunately I've seen every single one of them that I'm about to point out to you. One of the first places you want to check for dye is in these fittings where the refrigerant actually goes in. If there's dye in there, you take one of these fluorescent lights like this one. If you shine it in there and you see there's actually a little bit on there, that's from where I put it in. So those fittings were okay. So the next thing we checked was the condenser, because the condensers in the BMWs are kind of a weak link. Looked at condenser all over and we didn't see any dye there. One of the spots, which you really can't see, is the spot where the receiver dryer goes in. It's just a sock about that long that lives in the side of the condenser, and it just it's called desiccant. receiver dryer. What it does is it removes moisture, it filters the charge as it goes through the condenser, so it pulls out any impurities in there. And where that goes in is a very common point for these to leak. Okay? So, got our light, shined it on there. We didn't see any leakage in the condenser and or where the dryer goes in, which is actually a little unusual. We went inside the car. We checked down inside the vents with the fluorescent light, and we did see just a slight amount of dye, or what looked like dye. It may not have been that, because it's kind of difficult to see if there's not very much of it. Then what we did was we checked underneath in the evaporator core drains. And what happens when you have AC, it not only cools the air, removes humidity, but when it does that, it has to drain that moisture off of the evaporator through a tube down the bottom of the car. A lot of times if you leave your air conditioning on high and you walk away from your car with the car running, you come back and see a puddle of water under it, that's where it comes out, is that evap drain tube. So we're going to go underneath, we're going to take a look at that and see if we can find AC dye in that tube. After checking the AC lines to and from the compressor and the condenser and finding no leakage there, we also ended up checking the compressor itself, which is kind of difficult to see, but that was also free of dye. That brought us to our final checking point, which is up here next to the transmission. There is a tube that hangs out of the bottom of the car. It drains the water collected from your interior atmosphere on your evaporator core, and we checked that for dye, and we hit the mother lode there. Unfortunately for the customer, this is the one part, this is the absolute most difficult part to replace in the AC system, and that's the evap core, which lives inside the heater box, inside the car, behind the dash. So, but this is what we found, is that refrigerant is actually leaking out of the evaporator, and in order to repair it, it's going to require replacement. And then once we replace it, we will evac and recharge the system again. Hopefully it holds without any trouble after that, and the AC should work fine.